Sound check. Alexei, the translator, are you hearing me? Where is he? Wave. It's good? It's good.
He's hearing you very good.
Yes. I bet everybody, most people in the room speak English. Put hands up who speaks moderate English. Yeah, it's pretty good. But Alexei told me to speak very slowly and to pause. So if I'm going too quickly, just put your hand up and say slow down. I'm happy to do that. So thank you for that introduction. Just three things. I'm president of the World Out of Home organization, and I'm also chairman of Ocean Outdoor in the UK, which has a reputation now for being perhaps the most progressive digital out-of-home company in the world, and it manages some of the most iconic digital assets, including Piccadilly Circus in London. And I'm also proud, closer to home, that I'm chairman of the Atlantic Group here in Kiev, and also chairman of Perikiev Outdoor. And I see two friendly faces here, Larisa Bulatova and Ira Rossol from the company. It's good to see two friendly faces at least. So I was invited here to speak to you about the trends in out-of-home internationally. And I just thought I would kick off by playing a reel of some of the really spectacular advertising assets from around the world. And then I'll come back and share some wisdoms with you, hopefully. Isn't that great? So, as you can see, out of home is in a very healthy position around the world. And the good news is that trend is is set to continue. And I want to tell you why in the next 20 minutes, Nika said, I have following that video. So I have this dilemma, I have to speak slowly, but I have to finish in 20 minutes. So you'll have to bear with me. As I said, out of home has a lot to celebrate, and that's good news. And speaking of news, I know Ukraine has been in the news a lot lately, and you know, perhaps not for the right reasons, but that will all pass very quickly. And I know we always have an expression that there's no such thing as bad news, all news is good. So I hope things go well on that front. But I always, when I come to a country, check out some interesting facts. And it's great because it gives me the opportunity to learn a little bit more. And I just want to give you 4 facts that I picked up on Ukraine that I thought were really fascinating. And the first one is that this is the largest country in Europe by territory. I didn't know that. So terrific. And you were one of the first countries to introduce a written constitution, which goes back to 1710. And you developed, manufactured, and designed the world's largest cargo aircraft, the AN-225. And you are in the top 4 world rankings for contactless payments. So you have a lot to be proud of. I think, give yourselves a round of applause. It'd be great. So back to the industry, and we are right in the middle of a digital and data revolution in out-of-home. And in the past, out-of-home, the classic medium, was used primarily as a medium that launched products and built and maintained brands. And in recent times, it has embraced the digital world with lots of investment in digital technology and digital screens. I saw some terrific city center digital screens with you here last night in the center in Kiev. And I think this is really helping because it does a lot of things. It makes out-of-home easier to connect with other media, and it also, for example, reduces the lead time. So you can access out-of-home much later now because of the digital immediacy. But more excitingly, we're moving to a future situation where we now have a lot of terrific data and a lot of technology that is coming into play. And I think this is going to be powered by more automated trading and more programmatic trading. And this, I think, in turn will lead to a lot of growth opportunities in new areas for out-of-home. And all of that investment is really starting to pay off, because if you look at the stats, you'll see that digital out-of-home is now the second fastest growing medium, just behind online. And I think there's a very interesting, sorry, let me get back. There's a couple of interesting facts I'd just like to highlight there. If you look at all media stats, this is globally, you'll see that all out-of-home is keeping pace with all media growth, including digital. But if you look at digital out-of-home, you'll see it's the second fastest growing, but it's growing at a cumulative average rate of double digits each year. So I think that's really, really an interesting stat. I think also what we're seeing is an incredible increase in the proportion of revenues that digital out-of-home is generating in each market. So in the big markets where we have very up-to-date stats like UK, the US, and in China, digital out-of-home now is getting very close to providing 50% of the all out-of-home revenues. In fact, in the UK, it's now over 50%, and it's predicted to get to 60% at the end of next year. The other encouraging fact is that in all the continental markets, across the continental markets, we're seeing really steady year-on-year growth. I think with the exception of the Middle East and North Africa, all the other markets are posting really great growth numbers. So why is that happening? Why is out-of-home back in vogue, and why is out-of-home being supported by so many blue-chip major advertisers? Well, part of that is external factors. And this is a Clear Channel slide that I borrowed, which really addresses the positive factors affecting the audience for out-of-home. More and more people are spending big amounts of time out of home. We have an urbanization dynamic whereby now 55% of the world's populations are now living in urban environments, and that's predicted to grow to 68% by 2040. In China, for example, 1 billion people now live in urban areas, and air travel is predicted to double in the next 10 years. So the audience for out-of-home and out-of-home facilities is growing all the time. And that's the opposite trend to most traditional and even terrestrial television media, where the audiences are fragmenting. But a lot of the factors driving out-of-home are internally generated, where we are doing a lot of things better. It's not just about a classic billboard or a digital billboard, but it's all of the elements that go with that. And these are just 8 elements where we really are experiencing improvements across the board in global advertising. And it's helping out-of-home to perform much stronger, and it's helping us to be much more accountable. So this next stat from P.J. Solomon in the US and indeed Wall Street was produced, which shows that a blended survey that out-of-home performs all other media for effectiveness, and by a big margin. And by the way, don't worry if you can't get a photo of this. A copy of my presentation will be available for anybody who wants it. Just contact Prime or Larissa. But I mean, this is an incredibly strong stat, and requires deeper analysis. But again, this is part of what's happening internally that's driving it out-of-home. This next stat, I think, is key, and it shows that the amplification effect is particularly strong when out-of-home is used with other media. And you have situations where reach can increase potentially by up to 300% using the same trend, using the same spend, but by putting out-of-home or digital out-of-home into the media mix. And you know, these stats are compelling, and they are part of the reason why people are switching buying budgets back into out-of-home. And speaking of mobile, I think these research findings show clearly how well out-of-home drives activation. So more and more people are using out-of-home to drive traffic to websites and to use it, you know, as part of a multi-mix campaign. In the World Out-of-Home Association, we have actually formed a global committee to accelerate the connectivity between digital out-of-home and mobile, and we think that initiative will again open up a lot more new budget opportunities. We have a total integrated social engagement now in out-of-home. This particular campaign that Ocean ran across the UK for women's engagement it went viral. It literally, the coverage, it was carried across multiple international TV channels and online, and the actual coverage this campaign got was like unbelievably engaging, and this particular campaign won a Cannes Lion as well. So basically, out of home is converging now with most social media platforms, and this helps to deliver even better value than the basic cost per thousand value that it delivers just now. I want to talk a little bit about audience, and I know I was chatting to Larissa yesterday, and I know you are working on improving your audience measurement system in Ukraine, but this is another area where audience measurement is getting better, and it's becoming much more widespread. I think particularly in the US, where they have GeoPath methodology, and in the UK where we have Ruth, I think they are seen as two of the media gold standard measurement tools, and I think that's an area that the industry on a national level always needs to invest enough in. We must touch on creativity. I think the great thing is that the agencies, the creative agencies, are still producing amazingly good out of home. And I've given some examples there, some classic and some digital. I particularly love the McDonald's classic ad, because you have a situation here where McDonald's spend a lot of their media budgets on out of home. And why is that? Well, if you look at that ad, not only does it do a superb job of branding, it also does a directional job, telling people where to find the store, and it also encourages you to buy. So it does activation as well. And really, there are very few media that perform like that. You continue that tradition in the Ukraine. We had a conference, a World Congress in Dubai last June, and we had a very eminent creative speaker, Tim Delaney, and in his paper he said, from a creative point of view, nothing does what out of home can do. And it's not just about content, it's not just about creative content, it's also about creative media buying. There is just an opportunity now to do so many creative things in terms of media buying. And this example I'm very proud of, because it's an ocean example where in the summer, at the 50th anniversary of the moon landing, we produced this piece of content on Piccadilly Circus, which we sold to Omega as our content partner, because they were apparently the first watch on the moon as well. And again, that was a great bit of creative content, but a great bit of media planning as well. Hope you like it. So the creative opportunities are unlimited in out of home, as you can see, and all of that goes to tell me that the future for out of home is very bright. I hope you agree, and that's going to be further fueled and further powered by the rise of automation and programmatic platforms. It's really interesting to see how much is happening on that side of the technology platform. And I think some recent research showed that the awareness of programmatic buying in the media community has gone up from 29% to 63%. And a prediction that inefficient 10 minutes. I'm on schedule. A prediction that inefficient human negotiations on media planning will scale down in the next decade. So what else is happening in technology? I think 5G technology is going to also be a friend of out of home. It's going to mean that you can gain access to out of home even faster in real time. I think it means that you can really buy very late campaigns, then be very topical because of the 5G arrival. And also, I'm happy to report that in out of home we are doing our bit to save the planet, and there are several eco initiatives that are affecting out there. This particular one in Mexico City, which I saw personally just 2 weeks ago, is called Via Verde, and it's by GPA Valles, who's a big out-of-home media company in Mexico City, and they've come to an arrangement to build and to service these live shrubs that surround the pillars in the flyovers in the cities. They actually help to diminish the toxic air, and they also beautify the city. And in return, the city gives the company some backlight inventory to fund it and to prosper. Also, we have had a problem in our industry with disposing of plastic PVC materials, which are a big challenge in terms of disposal. And this particular product, which is from Sweden, looks exactly the same, but it's made from a cloth material that's entirely biodegradable. So you'll be glad to know that the out-of-home industry is taking its ecology responsibilities very seriously. This is a point that's very clear to my heart, collaboration. I was chatting to the Prime management before I come up here to say, I was trying to find out what the trade association activity was like in Ukraine, and I think it's very important in the media industry, and particularly in the out-of-home industry, that we collaborate more. We have a situation where the big techs are accessing big audiences groups, and we have to do more with programmatic platforms. And I believe from Marissa there are 600 media owners in Ukraine in out-of-home, and certainly that seems to imply that there's great room for consolidation. But if you think that you're too small to make a difference, you're never too small to make a difference, because I'm sure all of you have spent a night in a hotel bedroom with a mosquito, and you know that, even if you're very, very tiny, you can make a lot of difference. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit more about what we're doing at the World Out-of-Home Organization. And we formed the World Out-of-Home Organization just last May at our World Congress in Dubai. And this was formerly called FEPE, Federation European Publicité Extérieure, and we had outgrown the European footprint and become truly global. And its purpose is really to be a force for good for out-of-home. Its only purpose is to promote and to get the out-of-home media owners together to get standardizations, to improve best practice, and to have learnings. And when we launched it in May, we launched it with this launch video, which I think really says it all. Okay. So we are really excited about all the new things we're going to do at the World Association. As I said, we've become truly global. We have now over 100 major out-of-home media owner members across 35 countries. We have a terrific board of directors made up of CEOs from some of the biggest out-of-home businesses in the world, JC&Co, Clear Channel, Outfront, and Struer, etc. And all of those board members give up of their services on a voluntary basis. We are a not-for-profit organization, and you'll see from here that we are very proud to have Prime as one of our members from the Ukraine. And I would like to take this opportunity to, I'll be finishing right on time, Nika, don't worry. I'd just like to congratulate Prime for launching this, the 6th out-of-home Congress in Kiev. I think it's very important that we have days like this, and I think Prime deserve a lot of credit and maybe more support from the broader industry for doing this. So I'd like you to all just give them a big round of applause for this initiative. So we're already building on a solid foundation for the World Out-of-Home Organization, and it will provide databases and a lot more information for the media industry. We have also got a number of media agencies as members. WPP's Kinetic are members, TENDENCII's Posterscope are members. So we welcome that. And we also have some important suppliers who have joined as well to make sure they keep up with all the technology. It's a great place for networking, and I go around speaking at a lot of these conferences, and every time I go I learn a lot more, and I'm able to spread that information. We just launched the World Association in New York last month in conjunction with the OOH-AAA. So as members, there's lots we can do. I'll just pick 3 there. It will give you access to a large global database, sharing best practice, and also we have an industry 3,000 strong newsletter that you can log on to on a weekly basis and find out what's going on. As I said, we had our 60th annual Congress in Dubai. It was a terrific success, 450 delegates from 40 countries. And it was really a great 2 days of learning experience. The next one is coming up in June in Toronto, and I hope we see more representation there from Ukraine. You were all invited, so book your holidays in Montreal and Toronto next June. Talk to your bosses and get sign off. It really would be great to see you. Just to give you a flavor of. This is just a 2-minute piece, and then I'm done, Nika. So, right on time, Nika. To finish off, I just want to say that, in summary, that I think, and I hope you agree, that out of home is in really great shape. It's a great place to be, and we have so much opportunities ahead. Our future is only bright, though, if we hire the best people and if we keep investing in new technologies and raise our games. I always say that a rising tide lifts all boats, so we all have to play our part in that. And collaboration is the key. I think the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, so the more we can do together, the better. So let's all unite and let's take out of home, not from the second fastest growing medium in the world, but to the fastest growing medium in the next 5 years. Thank you very much.